Huge issues and legal holes have been discovered in Fani Willis's indictment against Donald Trump that could get this case dismissed as early as next week and possibly get Fani Willis disbarred. And there are reports coming out of the White House that Biden's staff are completely ignorant to his mental and physical decline. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to ANN American News Network. I'm your host, Vlad. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about this report first coming out of the White House. There are reports coming out of the White House that the Biden staff is completely ignoring his mental and physical decline. There are some people who are witnessing this and are asking themselves the question, why is this happening? But most of the staff are ignorant to everything, as though like they don't see it or that it's fake news. But reports indicate that most of Biden's staff completely ignore his confusion, his lack of ability to perform on his job, his outbursts of anger, and his lack of memory. I want to talk about this. The big thing that was underlined by these whistleblowers is his outbursts of wrath and anger. Now, we see him on stage. We just saw Joe Biden yesterday on stage, and he just started screaming, "When has America set out to do something and not finished it?" He got angry. He started, spitting everywhere, just screaming and shaking his fists. But why? That speech should not have made you angry or him angry. That speech should have been motivating, encouraging, should have brought a smile on his face. Like if I'm talking about the United States and about how great this country is. And guys, there's nothing that this country has wanted to do that it did not do. Whatever goals we set out to achieve, we always achieve them. You see it naturally, there's a smile and my voice changes to joy. But he started screaming, being angry, shaking his fists. Why? The mental decline. He doesn't even know which emotions go with which conversation. And that's on stage. Imagine what happens back, in the White House when cameras aren't rolling. When he first wakes up and before he's had his piles and piles of amphetamines and whatever other drugs they're stuffing him with just to get him to do something for 3 hours a day before he gets his sippy cup of warm milk and a nap. And Kamala reads him a bedtime story. I can see it right now. Here's Kamala. AI. It stands for artificial intelligence, meaning intelligence that is artificial. It is artificially intelligent, and intelligent it truly is. AI is the way of the future. The future is tomorrow. Yesterday's the past. But right now, this is where we are. Kamala, she's one of the greatest speakers I've ever heard. Let's get right into it. Let's keep going. I just had to, ladies and gentlemen. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Come on. Andrew McCarthy reveals the giant hole in Fani Willis's case against President Trump, which proves his innocence. Prominent conservative attorney Andrew McCarthy, a typical Trump basher, wrote an article last week completely blowing up corrupt Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis's garbage indictment of President Trump. It turns out there is a giant hole in the indictment that should be grounds for immediate dismissal. So this is a never Trumper, a Trump basher, right? Who is also an attorney. You may not like Trump, but that you should not erase your human side of you for it. You get what I'm saying? And looks like this guy, yeah, he might not like Trump, but he's a legal analyst. He's an attorney. As Christina Layla and Jim Huft previously reported, Trump and 18 other Republicans were indicted by corrupt Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis late Monday night on 41 total charges. These include RICO and conspiracy. Mark Meadows, Gina Ellis. Okay, these goes are all the name. And McCarthy wrote an explosive article in the Messenger Thursday, which proves the clearest case yet for Trump's total exoneration from these garbage charges. He focused precisely on the key part of Willis's indictment, the RICO conspiracy. Here's what he wrote. I'm going to read a little bit. This is the most important one. Why has DA Willis invoked Georgia's version of the federal racketeering influenced and corrupt organization, RICO Act, which is typically applied to mobsters engaged in the familiar rackets of murder, extortion, trafficking in narcotics and stolen goods, gambling, prostitution, and so on? Because there's a giant hole in her case, the lack of a clear crime to which Trump and his co-defendants can plausibly be said to have agreed. Racketeering charge works like this. A group of people come together and they put together a crime syndicate, a mob. And they all come into an agreement to go and break the law, sell drugs, steal cars, whatever. They have to, without a shadow of a doubt, prove in the court of law that Trump, when he put his team together, which is a legal team, it was his federal White House team. So that right there, number one, huge hole. So that right there should already be dismissal, but they have to prove that they're like, we're illegitimate. So if they want to go off in time, let me make a prediction. When everything comes to light and everything about the 2020 election comes to light, Joe Biden and all the Dems with him and Hillary and Obama are going to go down for racketeering. A criminal, they knew what they were doing in 2020. They knew they were breaking the law and they did it as a group, as an organization. They broke the seal. We're going to finish the job. So then they have to prove that they knew for a fact that the 2020 election was not stolen, but they agreed to lie. There's no evidence of that. To this day, Trump stands firm on his statements and on his beliefs. They are not going to be able to prove this in the court of law. When you got, these guys that don't like Trump writing stuff like this, attorneys, yeah. McCarthy briefly puts aside RICO and explains in full detail what a conspiracy means. A conspiracy, McCarthy notes, is an agreement to violate a criminal statute. This takes at least two people. Moreover, McCarthy explains that there must be a meeting of the minds about the crime that is the objective of the conspiracy. If there does not exist an agreement regarding the crime, a conspiracy does not exist. We know that they met leading up to 2020, saying, how are we going to do this? I'm talking about the far left extremists, the Bidens, the Obamas, the Clintons, all the best friends forever of Jeffrey Epstein, all of his best friends, his visitors. Let's call them the visitors. There's going to be a movie one day made about, Epstein and about the island, but we're going to call it the visitors. Those who were best friends with the guy. But the visitors, former best friends for life of Jeffrey Epstein, they actually did organize leading into 2020. I'm telling you guys, when I take a big breath, relax, take a step back, and I look at everything that's happening, they are indicting Trump for everything they themselves are guilty of. They are just breaking the seal and making it easier for him to indict and arrest all of them for everything they've done. He said it before many times, and he said it again recently. We've caught them all. We've got the evidence for everything. We're going to get them, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your time. Two things really quickly. I want to thank the sponsor of this channel, Michael Lindell. His company is My Story and My Pillow. Use links down below in the description with promo code ANN at checkout. Huge discount. There's also a link to my merch store, magamerchus.com. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. Thank you all so much for sharing my videos. Trump 2024 or sooner.